What's up? Welcome back. I'm John Stark from MikeTheMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and today I'm going to talk about Salvable. It just dropped on video on demand, so you can rent or buy it from any of the major platforms. It does have audio description, at least in the Apple Store, where I rented it. I was not given a screener for this. I don't think I've ever gotten a screener from Lionsgate, so maybe I have. I don't know. Have I? I don't know. I don't recall. I don't think I have. Um, so it does have audio description from Point 360. It's narrated by Tansy Alexander. And Lionsgate has a lot of films that they shit out. They really do. But they also have a lot of films that are not inherently bad. And I kind of wonder, like, why are they just don't market them. Like last year, I called them out for they had a couple of really good films right at the end of the year that they released because they spent money on shit like Borderlands and The Crow and tried to jam shitty movies down our throats. They didn't have money to cover things like White Bird and small things like these or The Return, which were decidedly better movies. They also had Megalopolis, but that was a different thing that, I mean, they were basically distributing it, the less skin in the game, so to speak, and I also don't think it was marketed to nearly the extent of Borderlands and The Crow. So, yeah, they took their crappiest movies and spent all the money in the world on them, and then ignored their good movies. So their good movies just kind of died at the box office. And then this year, they've had several movies that have just kind of been released onto video on demand that aren't inherently bad and probably could have done okay at the box office. But they're not even really bothering with theatrical releases or wide releases or whatever. They're just like, I don't know. Are there previews? Who knows? So Salvable stars Toby Kebbell. Although if you read literally anything from this, it would make you think Shia LaBeouf stars in this. He does not. He does not star in this movie. Look at me. He does not star in this movie. That is a lie. He is in the movie. It is Toby Kebbell's movie. 100%. I could find every Rotten Tomatoes approved critic, and we would all agree simultaneously that this is by far a Toby Kebbell movie. Under no circumstance is anybody ever going to say that Shia LaBeouf's character is the lead or the protagonist or the main character. I wouldn't even make the argument for him to be number two. Like, I don't think he's even in second position. So, is he in the movie? Sure. Does he have a few scenes? Yes. So, if you came here because you were interested in the continuing existence of Shia LaBeouf's career, despite presumably being canceled, he still is able to find roles. He's here. If you don't want to watch this movie, he's also barely here. Toby Kebbell is the lead, and he's very good. So if you haven't seen anything with Toby Kebbell before, I would absolutely recommend that you do. Servant on Apple Plus is a great example of his range and what he's capable of doing, but he's really just been a solid actor for basically his entire career. And this is a great showcase for him, much the same way. I don't know what happened with Day of the Fight, where that film went, but much the same way that worked for Michael Pitt, is it took an actor who is steady and reliable and sort of gave them a vehicle in which to showcase their talent. So this is a great vehicle for Toby Kebbell, and I wish that Lionsgate hadn't squandered its release and basically sent it out to die like Alarum or, I don't know, it's another crappy Lionsgate movie that went out to die at the pasture. Alarum is just, that's enough. So he plays, it's a story we've seen before, which is why I can understand why people are like, I don't know, how do we sell this? It's a boxing drama, but it's also not a boxing drama. It's a little like Day of the Fight, where it focuses a lot on the boxer outside of the arena. So he's a boxer who has a life, but his life is constantly mired in plight and struggle. And he has this broken family dynamic. He has this strained relationship with his daughter that he's desperately trying to improve. He's poor. He is trying to do anything he can to get money to support, but also to try to essentially just to improve his life, to improve his standing. He's clearly made bad choices earlier in his life, and he's still seemingly incapable of knowing the difference between what a good and a bad choice is. He kind of gets pulled into an underground boxing ring area by having this connection with Vince, who's shady, who is Shia LaBeouf. And, but that's not the whole story. A lot of it is also, he has a lot of scenes with his daughter, and the actress who plays her does fine. I've seen a little bit of overpraise for her performance. This film is driven by Toby Kebbell, and the people around him just kind of react well. Shia is playing a character that Shia likes to play now, where he's stretching himself. He, for so long, was playing that very sort of hopeful male lead, that the same character that he played in everything from Transformers to Eagle Eye to Indiana Jones. He was basically playing in Disturbia. He was playing the same person in basically all of those films to try to create this idea of what kind of a celebrity he could be. But it ended up drawing some ire from fans, and he, I think, didn't handle it well and had a lot of mental health struggles, which led him to where he is now. And he had also, for anybody who bothered with Honey Boy, has sort of also talked about the struggles that he had even before that from being a child actor. So somebody who's struggled with his mental health issues basically his whole life, and then put under a magnifying glass by being famous in a way that tabloids really like to point and laugh at him and make him the butt of the joke. If we're all being honest about Shia and where we are now, and how negative he is, there are some people who surprise us by being inherently bad people without really anything that created them. It's like finding out that something became a diamond without any pressure to create the diamond, you know? Not that, I mean, diamonds are good things, but with Shia, it's like you can see the whole process that created him, and then we're all supposed to act surprised. Like, what? Oh, he's unstable? I'm shocked. I'm shocked. It's all his fault and nobody else's. Nobody else bears any fault in the existence of Shia LaBeouf. So he's now doing this thing where he's trying to pick roles that you would think he would never have been offered before. And this is kind of that role. He plays kind of like the dirty, scroungy, he's got an accent, bad guy-ish, anti-hero. I mean, he is a bad guy in the state of the world, but he's not a bad guy to Toby Kebbell's character. So he's just this shady character that Toby interacts with. And he's there to sort of help Toby find other means of getting an income that maybe are not perhaps the best or the most legal, which goes into the whole thing about Toby Kebbell and struggling to stay afloat and stay above water and stay in a situation where he can be present in his daughter's life in a situation that does not want him to be. He has constant contention. He doesn't have custody, and he's constantly fighting with his ex over this, this isn't your day. You can't come see her. And he's like, I just want to take my daughter out to lunch. Just want to buy her a meal. Is that really, like, the limited contact that he's being forced to have in this is kind of heartbreaking, because when you see that he also, much like Shia LaBeouf was, is in like a place where it's like, if he could just get a little bit of help, he's clearly wanting to and trying to do and get up out of the bad things in his life, and recognizes a lot of the things that have led him to this position, but he just can't catch a break. And so it becomes that kind of that struggle and a drama. And he just happens to be a boxer, so then it gets sold as a boxing movie. But it's really a movie about being poor and struggling, and your deck of cards is just totally set up against you. You're not drawing anything. Not a damn thing. You don't even have a pair. You're having to fold every hand, or you're trying to bluff. You're just like, what the... So, I thought the movie had some really nice audio description. Tansy does a nice job. There are... it's mostly kind of this grim drama that doesn't really have a whole lot to do, but there are some sort of like really specific things. It's mostly kind of catching reactions and helping to highlight the actors' performances. That's where this is going to soar the most, because like I said, this is driven by Toby Kebbell, who gives an excellent performance, but no one's going to talk about it because Lionsgate is burying this movie. So this is a movie that's going to get lost. The movie's okay. It's not, I'm not going to say it like revolutionized my life. I actually liked Day of the Fight more as a cohesive movie. And the supporting cast was around Michael Pitt. But these are both very similar movies that take two actors who really should get more attention for the work that they do, and unfortunately puts them in films that nobody's paying any attention to. Honestly, the same thing could be said for Fire Inside, which was a boxing drama that Amazon had a really hard time getting off the ground, but featured really strong performances from Ryan Destiny and Brian Tyree Henry. And just nobody wanted to watch it. So it's like almost this genre of boxing dramas that aren't boxing movies is not conducive to attention, notice, or acclaim, but they're producing very good performances, and they're very underrated films. So I think Salvable is actually one of the better surprises that I've gotten clicking on a Lionsgate title this year, just simply because it had audio description, as opposed to, I don't know, The Nighttime World, Bloat, and Alarum. And it's just a couple of titles that I know are Lionsgate titles this year. So they've had a couple films this year where I've been like, why are you wasting your money on this? But this one finally comes along and I'm like, why don't I know about this? And why are you billing Shia as the star? If anything, he's almost polarizing enough that it'll keep people away. There will be people who won't watch this because he's in it, because he's being billed as the lead. But he's not the lead. Toby Kebbell is. So that's why I'm here to say this. He is in the film. You cannot avoid him. If the sheer presence of Shia LaBeouf just absolutely, sends shivers down your spine, then I'm sorry. Go yell at the people who thought it was fun to put pictures of him online wearing the bag over his head saying, I am not famous. Probably should have helped him back then. That was probably like a cry for help. Or how about him sitting and doing like marathoning his own movies and just like showing shots of him like crying to his own movies. So yeah, I mean, I think what we've interpreted as being eccentric has actually been something else. And it's something that we should probably talk about more at length regarding where he should be and his career, and making sure he has the help and support that he needs. I don't know that he needs to be in movies right now. I don't know where he is. But I know that too often we enjoy watching others suffer, and we just don't like to admit it. This film addresses the fact directly on that this is about an individual's suffering and trying to get away from it trying to break out from that mold. And I think Salvable is salvageable. So I'm going to give Salvable a B. I think it is a perfectly fine movie for what it is, that is driven by a really strong performance by Toby Kebbell, who may be on my list of like honorable mentions or performances at the end of the year. I think I'm going to see a lot of films this year, so I don't think he's going to end up in my top. He's probably going to be like an honorable mention. But I did really love his performance here. So shout out to Toby Kebbell. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And I will see you guys on the other side.